Today, we're going to talk about what a golden weekend it was. We're going to talk about my new listing strategy on eBay. We're going to talk about the new inventory system that I've implemented. And eBay just purchased Depop. Let's get it. Okay, guys, welcome to another show, Resellers, Talking Shop. So far, it's Reseller. Talking Shop has just been me so far. But I do have plans to bring other people on the show in the future. And I would love to hear your guys' comments and see what you think about some of the things we're talking about. So I would love for everybody to get involved. So it could be Resellers Talking Shop. But yeah, welcome to another show. This is episode 3. This will be the Wednesday, February 25th version of the show. I think I said it incorrectly last week, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're going forward. Yeah, hope you guys have been doing well. Hope you guys have been making a lot of sales. I've made okay sales over the past week, but not a ton. Since the last show, I've made 23 sales for a net sales of $365.70. Now, that needs to pick up. That really needs to pick up. Weekly, I want to try to double that weekly. So I am still working hard. I'm still listing every day. So that's something we're going to talk about later in the show, how I'm listing now, my new listing strategy to hopefully increase sales and to kind of hack or tap into the eBay algorithm, so to speak. But guys, what a weekend it was. I don't know if any of you guys are hockey fans. I'm a brand new hockey fan as of like mid to late November. I've really gotten into it in December now that we live in a city that has hockey. My girlfriend Leanne and I, we decided neither one of us knew much about hockey at all, other than the fact that they fight a lot. So that was the main attraction. But we were just like, hey, neither one of us know hockey. There's a hockey team in Seattle. So let's watch hockey and see if we can get into it together. And boy, have we. We are really enjoying hockey. I've been on ChatGPT. Every time I see something in a hockey game I don't understand, I just ask it. And so I've been really learning the game, and I've added hockey cards to my sports card collection, and I've been flipping hockey cards and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. And Sunday, we got up at 5 a.m., just after 5 a.m., to watch the gold medal match between the USA, the United States, and Canada. And man, when that alarm went off, I so kind of just wanted to roll back over and go to sleep and just watch the replay. But I am so glad that we both got up and watched that game, because what a game for the ages. The first gold for the U.S. in Olympic hockey since 1980. So, wow, 46 years, and just the way it ended. If you're not a hockey fan, I know you've seen the replay anyway. It's been all over the place. Jack Hughes scored the sudden death overtime goal, missing like a tooth and a half or 2 teeth with a busted lip because he took a high stick and knocked his teeth out. He bled. He laid on the ice for about 30 seconds, got up, not even 30 seconds, got up, goes into the box, gets padded up, whatever, and was back on the ice in like a minute and a half. I can't imagine any other sport where somebody just gets hit with a stick like that, loses teeth, and then is back on the playing field or the ice in like a minute and a half. It was insane. Like, I couldn't imagine like basketball players, especially soccer players, baseball players, even though baseball is my first love. I mean, I can definitely tell you people go out of that game very easily as precaution because it's a long season, right? And then football players, they would be second toughest, I guess. They have the concussion protocol now, so they hate going in the tent being in concussion protocol, but they wouldn't come back out if something like that happened. Absolutely would not. Now, I have seen basketball players like break a bone, like in their like a cheekbone or maybe their nose, and they wear a mask, right? They wear a shield, and then they'll keep playing. I've seen that happen before, but for the most part, these hockey guys are just built different, and we love it. And I don't think there's another brand of athlete or type of athlete out there that's just this tough. And I've learned that since I started watching hockey, and man, it has been a treat. So congratulations to the United States and all the hockey fans who got to watch that. I'm so honored that I got to be a part of that and watch it. We were just so thrilled that we were able to see it. So awesome. I know that's not reselling, but it was a big moment for the United States sports world, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it for a second because we were excited about it. And if you're a hockey fan and you're a fan of any sport, I hope you're excited about it as well. All right, so we got a lot to talk about with reselling today. We're going to spend a lot of time, not a lot of time, but like we're going to dig deep into something big that's happened in the resale world. So it's a pretty big one. eBay just acquired Depop for $1.2 billion in cash. They purchased it from Etsy, right? So Etsy bought Depop back in 2021 for around $1.6 billion. Now, if you're doing the math, and I'm not surprised by this, actually, for someone who has done reselling for several years on Depop off and on, I am not surprised. If you did the math, that, it sounds like Etsy lost about $400 million in that deal. They sold it at a loss. They had to get rid of it. So, so roughly $400 million that Etsy lost in that deal. So that alone tells you that something's going wrong with Depop, right? So let's break down exactly what happened, and more importantly, what this means for us resellers and as sellers, as buyers, stuff like that. So Etsy originally bought Depop to expand into the Gen Z fashion resale market. And Depop has always skewed younger, right? So I think around 90% of their sellers are 25 and under is a number that I heard. And then a big chunk of their average buyers go up to early to mid 30s, 34, something like that, I think is a number that I saw. The selling market is very young, very young. And, and I had some friends one time that are much younger back home in Memphis. And I would tell them that I resell and I sell on eBay. And one time this girl said, "Isn't eBay for old people?" I'm like, oh, okay. Is that really and she was young. She was I think she's in her late 20s or something. So it's is that the concept that people have about eBay? Is that it's just old people? And is that why they're going to Poshmark and why they're going to Depop and places like that? I don't know. I don't know why, because I have a theory on why young people are so attached to Depop. And it's because it's so easy to list. It's quick, right? When you take your photos and you list it, it's done. You don't have to put in all this metadata, and you don't have to be precise with what you're choosing, all the categories you have to choose when you do the listing. Their categories and their metadata is very, very broad, right? And then you don't have to really weigh a lot of them and measure. You just put a range of weight, and that's the shipping they charge. So, and that's one thing we're going to talk about later on things I hope to see change with Depop now that eBay has purchased them, and that is the shipping. So apparently Etsy's been under pressure to refocus on its core marketplace. And I tried signing up for Etsy because I just wanted to see what it would be like, see if it's a lucrative platform for me to resell on several months ago. And it was a nightmare trying to sign up for Etsy. I felt like I was about to have to get FBI clearance or something to resell on Etsy. And I got so frustrated just signing up for the platform that I just quit. I'm I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what frustrated me, but and I can be a very patient person when it comes to stuff like that as well. But I got irritable signing up for Etsy. So I don't know if that's the problem. I haven't really looked into it, but they do handmade stuff. They do vintage. They do craft stuff, craft supplies and stuff like that. So it looks like Etsy is wanting to simplify things and go back to the basics. I don't know how much Depop was holding them down or how much focus they were putting on that, or if the money they were losing was really affecting the platform. But for whatever reason, they just felt like they had to get rid of it, and that's fine. So Etsy, despite the loss, gets $1.2 billion in cash, so they can just wipe their hands clean of that and move on. So there you go. Let's look at why did eBay buy Depop. Now, it's a little interesting here. So eBay has always struggled to feel, I guess, cool. Not always, but just recently, in the past 5 to 10 years, with younger buyers. And it's that's what I was kind of talking about. I just had one person say, I thought eBay was for older people, or where old people go to shop and sell. And but eBay is massive. It's well established. by far of those type of platforms has the most foot traffic and the most opportunities for you to sell your items. And even though you can buy like vintage streetwear and vintage clothing on eBay, for some reason it just doesn't appeal to the Gen Z fashion marketplace. I don't know why. Because I've told you, like, I think in the last episode, I explained why I got rid of Depop. And I felt like I was like hanging out with a bunch of young people, like at a flea market, and we're just like giving away your clothes because you get a little bit of money for it and you're trading stuff. It was more like a trade or just like, hey, I'm finding this for you type culture. I didn't really take it. The more I was on it, I didn't really take it seriously as a selling platform, even though it has zero final sale fees. So with that, they can really improve this platform and make it lucrative and a serious resale platform if they want to. But there's a lot of stuff they got to clean up, a lot of things they got to improve. So Depop has the culture, has the community that eBay is wanting to kind of like dip into, right? So they bought, like Depop is closer to like Instagram meets resale, right? That's kind of what it is. Yeah, so they kind of purchasing like a younger audience, like a fashion focused platform. It's a resale app that feels good on mobile. Like it feels really good on mobile. It's really easy to list from mobile. Like I said, it's very easy to list. And like, we live in a world, especially with Gen Z, and no offense to any Gen Z people, but you guys are growing up with the short form content, the TikTok, the Instagram reels, stuff like that. So anything that you can get done quickly and get a return for it, that's more attractive. And I don't think eBay fits into that. I don't think it's very quick, right? You have to take your time, in my opinion. I take my time with listing on eBay, and I don't go into it thinking, oh, I'm just going to list this really, really fast, because you can make a lot of mistakes and you can leave out some things that can help you make some sales. Depop is not like that. It's, you take a picture of it, put a title, put some hashtags, you choose a couple of little metadata categories, and then you list it. I'd say it takes a tenth of the time to list something on Depop than eBay. And that fits right in with this Gen Z, like social media online culture. So the transaction is supposed to close in Q2 of 2026. It's got to go through a bunch of paperwork, red tape, stuff like that. So eBay won't officially take over until like the close of Q2. So that's coming up real soon. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I'm seeing the first Depop commercial that I've ever seen. I saw a commercial like 2 weeks ago, and I told Leanne, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I think that's the first Depop commercial I've ever seen. I don't know if this has anything to do with eBay purchasing it or whatever. And it happened. The commercial I saw it. And then like 3 or 4 days later, I saw the headline about eBay purchasing Depop. So eBay may be ready to throw some money. Depop may be ready to throw some money into it for advertising and to grow the brand. So what changes could we see with Depop? I don't know. Like from what I'm reading, everything, they're going to like keep it the way that it is so far. It's going to remain its own brand, remain its own app, stuff like that, right? I don't know if eBay like does eBay things, like a lot of eBay things, then it may push people away from Depop. The Depop platform is so simplified right now. If you start adding a bunch of eBay type stuff to it for listing, then, people are going to start complaining about the changes. Nobody likes change. Nobody. And I don't think that's restricted to one certain age group. Like a lot of people, when you get used to something, you don't like a lot of change, right? Unless it's like a big, like, hey, this is going to be great for whatever, for whatever you're changing. So some of the things it looks like eBay is going to focus on is eBay is going to take over the back end of things a little bit, right? So stronger payment options, better fraud protection, improved dispute resolution, stuff like that. eBay has 25 years plus years of marketplace experience. So they can help a lot of things on the back end. One thing I really hope they help is like with selling. And also, when you go to somebody's Depop page, you can't search their store or their page. You have to scroll through and look everything. You can only search very broadly from the main search engine, but you can't search somebody's store. I don't know why you can't do that. I don't know one selling platform that doesn't allow you to do that other than Depop. Because sometimes I would go to somebody's page, and I would say, oh, they have this that I like. I wonder if they have more stuff like this. I would like to do it. But you're on somebody's page that has over 1,000 items. I'm not scrolling through all that. Absolutely not. I'm just not. I mean, I would briefly, but I wouldn't look like I wouldn't, search it with a fine tooth comb or anything because that's miserable. Who wants to do that? So on their list, on eBay's list is actually shipping improvements. And I really, really hope that eBay implements something with Depop that allows you to put how much an item weighs and the dimensions. I know that's an extra step that a lot of people don't want to go through. It's just so easy just to choose that weight range. One of the big problems with people not, one of the big things with Depop is when I would get an offer from a buyer and I would accept it. I would accept the offer. And then I'd say less than 2% of the offers that I accepted did the buyer actually purchase the item. I would accept the offer. I would even have conversations with people, long conversations, and negotiate a price. And I said, all right, just send the offer. And I would send it and then they wouldn't pay. So then one time I made an offer for something. It was a sweatshirt that I actually wanted to resell on eBay. And they were selling it for like $8. I offered $6 and they accepted it. And I went to pay. And between the shipping for the sweatshirt, which the only option for selling a sweatshirt that may weigh over a pound or close to it, ends up being like $11.99 for shipping, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then there was tax, then there was transaction fee, and then there was some other fee. So for this $6 shirt, it ended up being over $20 after taxes, shipping, and fees and everything for the buyer. I think that's the main reason people don't purchase items after I accept offers. I used to just, shit on the customers from Depop, but I think it's a Depop problem. I don't know. So hopefully they change that, right? I'd be curious to see if they keep the 0% final sale fee because they just started doing that. I don't know the exact date that Depop started doing that, but they just started doing that. And there are a lot of sellers have jumped on board. And that's why you can sell stuff for cheap on Depop as well, is because there's no final sell fee. That's the biggest perk that Depop has right now. And so then you got to look about like what buyers want. I just mentioned something: better search, cleaner discovery. Like it is awful trying to search for clothes, search for items on Depop. So I'm not just going to jump back onto Depop right now. Like I said, I'm eBay full steam ahead right now, but I'm going to keep my eye on Depop for the next year or so and see how it changes. If like in the next 6 months or something, if I see some changes that I really like and they keep that final sale value, and then I may start listing some things back on Depop. But right now we're just gonna sit back and see the changes they make and see what happens. I don't know. Maybe it could be good. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What kind of changes would you like to see on Depop? If you've ever had any experiences on Depop or anything like that, I'd love to hear about it. All right. So like I said, I had 23 sales over the last week since I last talked to you guys for $365.70. And that needs to improve. And hopefully it does, because I want to talk about my new listing strategy. I think I touched on this a little bit in the last episode, but my new listing strategy, I saw a video and I was doing what I'm about to tell you like several months ago before I left Tennessee. And for some reason, like I got out of the habit or out of the routine of doing this. But so I have a new schedule, right? On Mondays, I have YouTube Monday, right? I record the show. Today's Tuesday, so I'm doing it very early. But I want to focus on YouTube on Monday. I also have a YouTube gaming channel. I'm a gamer a lot, and that's the only day I play video games. And then I'm able to post like 3 videos a week from that gameplay. And then I do the show. And then Tuesday is I scan sports cards. I invested into a scanner, like a flatbed color scanner. So now I am scanning sports cards. I can scan 4 cards at a time. I can do other things while it's scanning because it does take a minute for it to scan. You got to preview it and it auto crops it and then it straightens it out and then you scan, right? So you got to preview, scan, and I got to do the front and the back. And I can do 4 cards at a time while I'm doing that. But while it's scanning, I can do other little things, right? Or I can get up and go do something and come back and it'll be done scanning when I get back, instead of just like sitting down over there at my board and taking pictures. And I ran into some issues with a lot of cards where like the lighting would put a glare on a lot of my sports cards. So I'd have to get the lighting right. I'd have to position it just right and stuff like that. So this kind of takes that out, and it does some pretty good photos. I'll put some up on the screen and show you some of the photos from the scans that I've been doing. But I like doing that. So Tuesdays is sports card scanning. I just scan sports cards all day, right? And then Wednesday is going to be clothing and other things, right? I'm just going to take as much clothing and other things that I have that I can list, take photos of them. And then Thursday and Fridays are list day. And, this will change a little bit when it's time to source again, but I don't need to source right now. I have plenty of stuff. So Thursday and Friday is list day. Now, the way I'm listing is I have picked out a number and I played with a number. I was going to schedule 10 a day. And then I was like, well, let me try to do 20 and then 15. Well, okay. I came up with 12 dozen listings a day. And if I see that I can do more after I do this for about a month, then I will. But I'll do like a dozen listings a day. So on Thursday, when I start listing, I start listing for Friday and I schedule them out for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way to Thursday. I'll go further if I can, because right now I have scheduled listings all the way through Saturday. So that's good, right? So I got a day ahead of what I wanted to do. And so what this does is it makes sure that you are listing something every day. You're always active on the platform, and eBay loves that. This is the way to kind of like tell eBay, hey, I'm here and I'm going full speed. I'm going to be doing stuff on this platform every day. I have a top rated seller rating, and I promote my items at 3%. And so what this is going to do is it's going to tell the eBay algorithm to push your items out more if you're listing every single day. And from what I've been reading, I've watched some YouTube videos, I've done some reading on this. The longer you do this every day, the more eBay says, okay, we like this person. Here, let's push this stuff out. So I'm going to be doing that now rather than, taking photos of like 40 items and then listing 40 items on Thursday or 20 items on Thursday and then 20 more like on the next Tuesday. I'm scheduling them to go out every single day. And so if you do the math on a 30-day calendar, that is like 360 listings every month, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal. I'd like to push that higher if I can. I got to get everything out so I can start sourcing again and get this money rolling in. Now, a lot of the things that I am posting are sports cards, and they are easier to list, right? So they are quicker to list, and they sell for a lot less money. So the idea with the sports cards is to post high volume of sports cards and sell them at a high volume for low money. And, so sometimes you only clear, 30 or 40 cents on a sale with a sports card, but I'm getting rid of sports cards, getting them out of here, getting the people that actually want them. So the things that I don't collect personally, I'm reselling. There's some things I hold on to because that card or player may be more of an investment opportunity, but that comes down with the strategy of flipping sports cards and reselling sports cards. And if anybody would like me to go in deeper in that, I can. This isn't really a sports card podcast, but I can do a show one day on it once I get things figured out. So just let me know. So that is the new listing strategy. I'll keep you guys updated on that, let you know how that's going, how the impressions are improving, how the sales are improving, and stuff like that. So I'll let you guys know. Now, real quick, I did implement a new inventory system. So before, one of the hardest things to do, especially when your inventory becomes overwhelming and you get a lot of inventory, is keeping up with an inventory. So before, in the past, I would always have 300 to 400 items and mostly clothing items. And I had the space to just hang it up in my closet, and I would hang it up by color, the best that I could. So if something sold, I'd be like, oh, it's a black t-shirt. Let me go flip through my black t-shirts. Takes about 15 seconds, sometimes less. You find the t-shirt and you ship it out. But now that I'm doing this full time and I want to scale, I had to come up with an inventory system. So in Memphis, Leanne and I went over, we had an inventory system, but I was doing the inventory by categories, right? T-shirts in here, and I think like it was like the category abbreviation was like TS1, TS2, TS3. Those each bin of t-shirts was labeled TS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In those bins would be like a TS1 0001, TS2 0009. And you know, I would have to create stickers for each category and for each bin. Now that the inventory is getting more, it was harder to figure out like which bin had the most space. So I would have to take photos and then go back into my inventory room, figure it out, then put the stickers on, right? So now I've implemented a system that allows you to do this, I think, a little bit more simpler. It's still going to take about once a month, I'm going to have to like backfill some areas because I just don't have enough space where I can keep adding bins and not backfill, right? So I have a shelving unit in the back, but each shelf, each level of the shelf is going to be a zone, like zone A, zone B, zone C, zone D, and you know, and so on. Zone E, I think it's like 5 or 6. I can't remember. I think maybe it's 5 levels. And so, and my inventory is just going to start with 0001 and go, right? And if I'm working on zone A, I can just do ZA, whatever the number is. But like if I go to zone 2, it's not going to be ZB or zone B. If I go to zone B, it's not going to be ZB0001. It's going to be whatever the next number is from the previous zone. Here's one right here. Look, there you go. I just have the number on it, right? 48. Just have the number on it. It's 48. So when it comes time to file this away, I'll just file it behind the last where the numbers are. And if that space ends up being in zone B, well, then when it comes to inventory, I will start putting zone B, like ZB 00048 in the SKU number. Now, like I said, about once a month, I may have to go backfill, like just push the numbers back, and it may end up putting some stuff from zone B into zone A. So I'll have to change probably a few SKUs, but I don't think that'll take very long. And I think overall, this will save me a lot of time. I'm looking forward to it. I'll keep you guys updated with that as we go forward too, just so you can see how that's working. And of course, like there are hundreds of ways to do inventory, right? And just for the space that I have, I think this is the best going forward right now. If you have inventory ideas, or I would love to hear how you do your inventory, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation about inventory, because when you're trying to scale, having organized inventory is huge, is very huge. And that is what I'm trying to do here, trying to scale in the room that I have in the house. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And the sports cards, you can see them on my right back here, right? Oh, sorry. You can see them right back here under my Saints jersey, my Deuce McAllister Saints jersey. It's just boxes I have on that table. I'm going to work on getting a shelving system and put it in this closet behind me, push it up against the wall, and have all my cards in there on shelves. So they're just kind of out of the way. But I just have them categorized by sport and alphabetically right now, right? So if you go to baseball and the last name of the player that just sold is A, you just kind of grab where you think that is and flip through it, and you can find it in about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. All right, like I said, we had like 23 orders over the past week since I last talked to you guys. And the yarn, Leanne's yarn that she's doing, and if you haven't heard me talk about this yet, this is your first time listening, she is taking old sweaters and she is unpicking them, unraveling the yarn into yarn cakes, and we're reselling them. And we sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots of yarn. Here, I'll show you this one right here. Here you go. We sold this one for $12.99 plus shipping, right? So you don't make a ton of money on these, but you know, it is serving a purpose. We're getting money. She enjoys doing it. And we're also selling buttons. If she gets a sweater that has buttons on them and they look unique or whatever, then she will sell the buttons, and I'll take pictures of them and I'll list them. We sold these for $3.99 plus shipping. We cleared just under $2 on these, but I think if somebody was like, I'll give you $2 for these 6 buttons, I think anybody would say yes to that. So we are trying to squeeze every penny we possibly can out of these sweaters. And I think it is working. So far, We're going to say she spent $80 on the first round of sweaters because when we went to the bins, I had a bunch of stuff in there as well. So we'll just throw a number and say she spent $80 on the first round of sweaters. She spent $19.50 last weekend at a thrift store. So that's roughly, $100. We'll just call it $100, right? So far, out of that $100, she has sold 12. Yeah, she sold 12 lots of yarn and one set of buttons. And we have cleared, this is net, $118.60. We still have a bunch listed. Here, I'll search yarn through our active listings right here. So we still have 14 lots of yarn listed. And as you can see, look at the watchers here. It gets a lot of views and a lot of watchers. So this one has 13 watchers, 6, 5. I mean, the yarn gets the most views, I think, out of anything that we're selling in the store right now. And so she has 3 or 4 more lots ready to go. She has multiple sweaters still from the previous sourcing that she did. So I think the sweaters are doing really good and the yarn is doing really good and she loves doing it. So that's just an update on that. And the sales didn't have really any super interesting sales outside of the yarn. And I still think the yarn is just unique, something I never would have thought of and something she brought to the table. And I'm really happy she did because we're enjoying doing that. All right. I think that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Appreciate you listening. If you're on YouTube, you can make sure you like the video. Let's hear you down in the comments. You can also follow this show on Spotify, Resellers Talkin Shop podcast. If you're on the podcast and you found me, you can see the video on YouTube. So I'd love for you to come to the channel as well if you're listening on the podcast. That's it for today. Keep selling the crap out of stuff. I hope you're all selling the crap out of stuff. We'll see you in the next episode. Y'all have a good week. Take care.